Hey everybody, it's Kim. I am headed out to the garden to pick a few things, and I thought I would take you along. Now remember, here in Michigan, I did not get anything planted until, well, a couple things. The broccoli that I'm going to harvest went in the beginning of May, and everything else went in right around Memorial Weekend. So I don't have a whole lot, but I'm doing a video. I'm trying to get one together using up things I have and anything I could find in the garden to make a bunch of salads for the week. So I thought I would take you along and show you kind of what I've been able to harvest. Before I head outside for the fun part, right now I have some chives. It's almost 90 degrees today, so I bring them in and I put them in some ice water. It keeps them from getting all wilted. And I found some more asparagus that I put in, again, some water. It keeps them, could actually soak them in this as well for a little bit. Just keeps them nice and crisp, and it lasts a little bit longer. And now I have some asparagus to use in one of my recipes later this week. Yes, I'm the only one who eats it, so I could chop it up in the ones I like the best. Now let's head outside and see what I can find. I have covered this area, gave it some shade, because this is where my snap peas are, and they do not do well in the summer. In the very extreme heat, they won't set blossoms, and I'm getting some blossoms now that I've shaded them. But I didn't know if you knew this, but you could take these tendrils like this at the tips. They're very tender and they taste just like peas. So if you have a recipe that needs peas, you can go through here and pick a bunch. You want to get the young ones, the tips, because they're most tender. And you can add those to your recipes. They're really good. And if you're really brave, you can eat some of the very tender young leaves, but those are okay. They're not great. If I cooked them in something, that'd be fine, but not to use raw. So later, I'm going to make probably some pancit, which I really, really love peas in it. So I probably come through then and go through all of my different peas and pick out some of the tendrils. And I have another one over here. You can see that's hidden kind of, just to shade them a little bit, to give them a little bit of relief from this really hot weather. And I just got done watering, so I have some peas over here as well. These are not doing so great. I need to get them under some shade as well. But most importantly, I wanted to show you what's under here, because this is the fun part today. The magic. Look at what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful broccolis to pick. And I only picked this one 2 days ago, and look, it's already got side shoots growing. See them? Those side shoots, they're smaller, they're not as big as a full head, but they're just as edible. So cut your broccoli off and do not pull the plants out. Don't cut them down too low. Now let me show you how I know that I need to get these done. I did water, so you can see some water drops on them, but they're starting to get a very slight yellow tinge to them. If I let that go more than a day or two, that's going to flower. They're still edible, but they're not quite as pretty as people want. Yes, you can eat broccoli flowers. They taste just like broccoli. But I'm going to go ahead and pick these. I'm going to get them in the house, put them in some ice water, and I guess I'm going to be eating a lot of broccoli. Some of it's going in the freezer, but I just wanted to show you what I have. This is the only one of the few things that I have ready to go, and I'm really excited. So now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with all this broccoli. I'm going to pick it and get it in the house. Before I head in the house, I want to show you a couple more things that are really good, and most people don't know about them. Now, remember earlier in the year I had found some garlic that I had forgotten to take up. Well, I moved it over here, and you can see this. Hopefully you can see this thing. It's starting to curl. This is known as a garlic scape, and it happens on your stiff-necked garlic. That will go to seed. If you leave these grow, they're going to get big, and you're going to get tiny little garlic bulbs up there that you could plant, but then you don't get enough energy down in the roots. So I come in here and I nip them off. I'm going to do all of them just because I'm here and I don't want to forget to do it later. You can let these get a little bit bigger because these are edible. They're actually really delicious. They taste like a kind of like a garlicky green bean. So I cut all these scapes off, and I can use these now in my recipes. Anything that you use garlic or green beans. And remember I said I was going to make that pan set? This will be wonderful. I can cut them into little pieces, and you see all my weeds. I just can't keep up. Those are sunflowers right there. I will use them in my recipe in place of garlic, and I can use the greens. I'll cut it up and use it that way. So I wanted to make sure I showed you that before I went in the house, because that's something else I found edible today. Came back over here as well and picked the rest of my chives, and those blossoms on there, those are edible. I just posted a video on how to make your own chive blossom vinegar for salads and stuff. It's so delicious. So I'm going to use that for that. And I just wanted to show you, this is what I found so far today. I forgot to show you what else I did. This is some mint that I found. I just put it in here, some water, and I'm making some mint tea. It's so refreshing in the summertime. I'm letting the sun do its thing, and I will drain off that water. I can do it twice if I don't make it too dilute. I could have filled it up to the top maybe, but I don't like to do that. And you come in here and you kind of tamp it down a little bit. It's called muddling. Releases some of that minty flavor. And with my food later, I'll have some nice mint tea. Anyway, I want to show you that, and then I'll show you the rest of what I picked. Right, so what did I find total? I have my broccoli. Now remember, I have this in some cold water and some vinegar. There should not be any bugs in there because it was covered, and it didn't look like I had any, but just in case, you know. And also, because I picked it and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's super hot, I want to make sure it gets some hydration, just like you would a bouquet of flowers, right? So I'm going to let that absorb a little bit of water. I had my asparagus that I found earlier, my chives, and my garlic scapes. So not too bad for not seeming like there's much out there. I do have a bunch of oregano. Oh, I forgot the mint on the porch too, in the sun tea. I do have a bunch of oregano out there that I can use anytime. I just don't need it right now for any recipes that I have, and I pick that as I go. The chives, I did pick pretty much the entire plant. The blossoms, I'm going to make either use them in some of my salads today. You have to get them before they start getting the little black seeds in them, and these don't have any yet. I was just looking a little closer. No seeds. I can either pull these apart and throw them in a salad. I could, but I'm going to make some more of that chive blossom vinegar, and I'm going to let these dry. I'm going to chop them up. I think I'm going to put them in some small baggies and throw them in the freezer for recipes. And I could always dehydrate a bunch, but I usually do that later in the fall. That's it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my little harvest today. I know I will. And you guys have a wonderful day.